I would say it's an honor that you are here. I could not understand much of what you said because of my own shortcoming. I don't understand the local dialect. But it is said that when a very honorable person says words of weightage, whether you understand them or not, the credibility is surely there. So I know what you said was very, very meaningful, and I enjoyed when the audience was responding to his applauses with smiles, and that itself showed that there was a lot of content. The good thing was there's nothing to match because I did not understand. So I don't know what issues you covered. The ones you didn't cover, I'll try to cover in my speech. Second, Rashmi Samant, like my younger sister, the other sisters are also sitting in front. I was interacting with her in the morning, and I must say that she's a very promising individual, full of life, vigor, passion for our country. And in a short while that we interacted, I think it augurs well for our democracy that we have people like Rashmi ji sitting here, and I'm sure that in the times to come, he would contribute very positively. Give you all my good wishes for a very bright future, prosperous career and nation service. Nidheesh ji on the dais, he's been representing you and the state of Kerala. And I must tell you that I visited states all over the country, and there are local dialects, there is local food, and Nidheesh ji was very kind. I was very enamored by the dhoti and the lungi, if I may call so. And we wanted to visit the temple, and he said that you will have to do it in the local attire, and I was again very excited. So thank you, Nidheesh ji, and to the entire team for ensuring my first picture in this local attire. And I must tell you that that is the beauty of our country, whether we are from the north, east, west, south. But when we visit a state which is not very well known to us, but the culture, it enamors you. It starts telling you that this is part of India and I'm embracing you. And this is the feeling I got. I must congratulate you for this initiative also, One Nation, One Election. And I will go into aspects that have not been covered so far. In TV debates, they have not been covered, not by the opposition. But there is a vision that we have. The vision of Shri Narendra Modi ji, a leader we all revere, a leader who doesn't only dream big. First he dreams big, and then he ensures the big dream is realized and fructified so that India can lead on the global stage. And with that, I would start by saying, what exactly is One Nation, One Election? So we all know that when the Constitution was framed and the Constituent Assembly debates took place, these stalwarts of the country from each region, each ethnicity, with different languages, different genders, they all came together. They came together for a single purpose. The purpose was to give to ourselves a law, a constitution, which will govern us and which will take India forward. And I must say it with a lot of pride, our constitution starts with the words, we the people. So nobody gave the constitution to us or pushed it towards us. It was us. We decided that this would be the law of the country. This is the spirit of unity that will define us. And in the last 75 years, there were naysayers like there are now who say one nation, one election. बहुत बड़ा काम है ये होने वाला नहीं है, लेकिन उस वक्त भी ऐसे लोग थे. There were people even at that time, they said this constitution will not muster the test of time. And now when we look back, we can all proudly say the constitution is not just alive, it's breathing. It's a living document. It adapts, it changes. It changes according to the needs of the citizens. It changes according to the need of the hour. And I must say this with a lot of pride, that Shri Narendra Modi ji, I still remember Narendra Modi ji entering the parliament for the first time. It was sheer reverence, the commitment for the constitution. He bowed his head before the first step of the parliament. That was symbolic that he is worshipping the people of the country and the spirit that is imbibed in the constitution. And how has he changed the constitution before I come to the topic of the day? Is it not a moment of pride? All of you would know that Article 370, as framed by the constitution framers, started with the word temporary. But nobody had the gumption, the spine, the commitment, the conviction to remove that one word temporary for the sake of petty politics, for the sake of appeasement politics. And I still remember when we were debating Article 370, the parties in the opposition and their spokespersons, they used to look at us and say, it's impossible, can't be removed. And then what happened? 5th of August 2019, Shri Amit Shah ji, in whom we see modern day Sardar Patel's spirit, he tabled a bill and the constitutional amendment was done. The impossible was turned into I am possible. Article 370 abrogated. India saw that Kashmir is now fully integrated with India and the impossible was converted into possible. Second, I was talking about women empowerment. A dream by the Congress party when they were in power. They spoke about women reservation. Nobody could ever even imagine that it can become a reality till Shri Narendra Modi ji, in the new building of our temple of democracy, he introduced the bill. It was passed, and today it's a reality that when elections take place in the future, 1/3 of the membership of the parliament and the assemblies compulsorily would see women politicians leading from the front and getting their due, which was to be done long back. So this is the second example. Third example, everybody gets busy in politics, which is appeasement of caste even, forgetting why Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Sahab and other framers of the constitution spoke about reservation. The intent was to empower people who have been oppressed, who have suffered, and nobody ever thought about the economically weaker section. And it was again a matter of pride that Shri Narendra Modi ji, he brought in a constitutional amendment, and by which now we have ensured that there is reservation for the economically weaker section. So 3 amendments of the constitution, and as we spoke about being the 4th largest economy in the world, let's not forget the GST. The GST was an economic reform, and it pertains to the topic today, and I will show why. GST ensured that the cooperative federalism structure of our country becomes stronger And yes, we have diversity of language. Yes, we might wear different attires. Yes, we have a local taste, be it the sambar in the south or chola bhatura in the north. But one thing unites us, and one thing that unites us is our country, Bharat, the Tiranga. And in that spirit, GST was brought, and it has been a huge success. So, this was to tell you that Constitution, some people carry the Constitution, they show it in their hands. And you all know whom I am talking about. But without taking any names, I will tell you, being a senior advocate practicing in the Supreme Court, you have to worship the Constitution. Like a priest would come out of reverence, you have to live, breathe, eat, sleep, talk the Constitution. Each word the framers, when they brought in, was deliberated for hours and hours, sometimes days, and then those words were introduced. So, in the Constitution, the most important part was giving the power to the common citizenry to elect their government. And this is where we come to today's topic, One Nation, One Election. The power was this, that there would be a federal structure. Our Constitution talks about a central government and a state government. And in the first 4 elections, as rightly pointed out, the elections were simultaneous. So a citizen went to vote, and the citizen voted for the central government and for the state government. The topics or the criteria or the reasons might be different, but the citizen voted for 2 governments. After the 1967, what happened was, the central government, they started exploiting the provisions of the Constitution, and they started dismissing elected governments, invoking president rule. That disturbed the pattern, and it disturbed the pattern so much that the central government at that time, mainly the Congress party was in power, was controlling the state polity. They didn't like a leader. Some tall leader from the state said that I do not agree with you. I wish to also talk about the rights of my people. The easiest option was dismiss the government. This continued for almost 4 to 5 decades. And then, as we know, Shri Narendra Modi ji in 2014 became the Prime Minister of the country. Narendra Modi ji definitely thinks very big. We all have seen how if he dreams big, the next step is to ensure that dream has to also materialize. So if I remember correctly, it was in the year 2017-18, he spoke about one nation, one election, and what a beautiful way of forming a consensus. He spoke about one nation, one election, and he reminded all political parties that it is a duty to have simultaneous elections like we used to have, for the reasons that I would elaborate upon. But please come forward and give your suggestions. Now, it is disheartening that when the Prime Minister of the country is asking for suggestions, you may criticize, you may condemn, you may not agree, you may agree, you may partially agree. But don't you think that all political parties should come forward to at least participate in something that is worthwhile? But the sad part is, the political parties, like the Congress and others, did not come forward, and they did not make any meaningful suggestions. So, Did Shri Narendra Modi ji in a knee-jerk reaction decided to amend the constitution because he had the numbers in the lower house and also in the upper house we have seen how the bills had succeeded to be passed? No, he did not. The beauty was Shri Narendra Modi ji in a very democratic way. He decided to form a high-level committee. A high-level committee headed by the former President of India, Shri Ramnath Kovind ji. And to our satisfaction, this committee had Shri Amit Shah ji as its member. Subhash Kashyap ji, we all know he is a constitutional expert. Mr. Harish Salve ji is a senior advocate and a colleague at the bar, very renowned constitutional expert, and many others. So all these people deliberated for hours and hours on every amendment that is required. What are the benefits? If there are any areas that need to be assuaged, then those areas need to be talked about. And they came up with a report. This report was 18,626 pages. Imagine the kind of hard work that was done by this committee. And they spent 191 days working on how the constitutional amendment should be. Now, when this report was accepted by the cabinet and a bill was tabled in the parliament, like always, the opposition, rather than contributing, started creating a ruckus without any merits, without any reasons. And at that time, a JPC, a Joint Parliamentary Committee, was constituted where there are members from the Treasury bench as well as the opposition, and we are still there. They have to debate amongst themselves the utility, if any changes are required to the bill. And I think it's a very constructive, participative constitutional exercise that is taking place. But a question that comes to everyone's mind, did this idea just come from thin air? Or is there a basis to this idea? So for all the youngsters who are sitting here, who like to question everything that is spoken about, who like reasoning, who believe, ये कौन है जो हमें ज्ञान दे रहे हैं? Who's he? He's trying to give me, his side of the picture. I've done a little bit of research, and just to lend it credibility, I will tell you. First, in 1983, the constitutional body, which is under attack these days, you must have seen, the Election Commission of India, it recommended that we should go back to one nation, one election. It is good for our democracy. Then there is 170th Law Commission report in 1999, which talks about simultaneous elections. The 255th Law Commission report in 2015 again recommends that there should be one nation, one election. And the 79th Parliamentary Committee report of 2015 again said the same thing. The reason is very simple. Why is it that constitutional bodies and experts are talking about one nation, one election? According to various estimates, the last 2024 elections, the expenditure happens from the exchequer, the taxpayers sitting here and many of you. It's your money that is utilized for the elections to undertake. I want to ask any estimate from the viewers and the audience here, how much was spent during the 2024 elections? Any guesses? I'll take one or two just to get an idea. Where I stand, please tell me. Young guy looks at me, he wants to say something. Yeah, please tell me. 1.02 lakh crore. Anybody else? Okay. So I must say, this also shows the youth is very well aware. You were very close, my friend. It's around 1.35 lakh crore rupees. 1.35 lakh crore expended for an election. This is the Lok Sabha election. Now, assembly elections also have to take place under Article 83 and 172. Every 5 years, we are aware we have elections. So it's double the expenditure. So first reason that I would want you people to note is the exchequer's funds that are utilized are spent twice for the same cause, when any prudent person would tell you it can be, the same goal and purpose can be achieved if we have simultaneous elections, and probably we can save a lot for other basic amenities like infrastructure, hospitals, education, all these things. Second, there are estimates from the economists, leading economists across the country, even some international economists, who have said that if we achieve this dream that we are talking about and turn it into a reality, do you know how much it would add to our gross domestic product? 1.5%. So imagine, just by this one measure, our GDP growth would go up by 1.5%. Isn't it something to explore? Is it not worthwhile to break the shackles, think of something which is in constitutional spirit? I'm sure all of you would agree the answer is yes. Third, and very important, every election that takes place, you must have seen there is deployment of the paramilitary forces, the police, the teachers, the booth level officers, and some estimates say that this number goes up to around 8 lakh to 10 lakh. Now imagine when we have separate elections for the assemblies, what does it do? These 10 lakh people will have to do another day's duty. So it's like saving those man hours if we do it together. And then India has world's largest electoral college, and we all know it is around 100 crore voters now. So I want to ask myself that if everyone, all of you, even ma'am, would go and vote, she can vote for the central government and for the state government in one go, on one day, with one leave. But then the nature is such that no, you take 2 days off, you go again the second time, you vote again, and how many man days, or if I may say, women days have we lost? 100 crore citizen days we have lost. Is that not huge? You know, mountains can be moved with that kind of effort. But what are we doing? We go, we vote, we come back home. आज क्या बना है खाने में, कुछ खाने में दीजिए, टीवी लगाते हैं, घूमने जाते हैं. That is not what our framers wanted from us. Fundamental rights की बात हर कोई करता है. Fundamental duty is to work towards electing the government and then also work for nation building. And that is why this one idea will change the dynamics, the way politics is done in India. And most importantly, I was reading again somewhere that we all know about a term used, model code of conduct. So model code of conduct generally is invoked before the elections are to happen and when they are announced. Now we are talking about the Lok Sabha elections, the state elections, and then the Gram Panchayat elections or the local body elections. So a chief minister just raised this issue. He said, out of the 365 days in my state in that particular year, can you guess how many days the model code of conduct was in place? Any guesses? कोई बोलेगा? तो मैं इतना ही कहूँगा, इतना सन्नाटा क्यों है यहाँ पे? So 205 days, 205 days out of 365 days, there was model code of conduct in place. होता क्या है? Citizen comes, please construct the road. The minister will say, अभी नहीं हो पाएगा, मॉडल कोड ऑफ कॉन्डक्ट लगा है. स्टेट इलेक्शन ओवर हुए, सिटीजन गोज अगेन. अब क्या है? अब ग्राम पंचायत के इलेक्शन का मॉडल कोड ऑफ कॉन्डक्ट है. सिटीजन सेज ओके. So you are losing 205 days. No policy decision could be made. Policies cannot be implemented. And this is the way democracy works. Very fairly so. But then, with one nation, one election, how things will change? We will have elections. The remaining time is to implement the policies, to ensure that the ministers and people manning constitutional positions are held accountable to the people. And that is why one nation, one poll is definitely an idea which is not just worth exploring, but worth implementing. And as Swami Vivekananda ji said, arise, awake, and rest not till your goal is achieved. In Shri Narendra Modi ji's mantra, I think the ideology of Swami Vivekananda ji is there, that now I will not rest till the time one nation, one election has become a reality, and maybe after that all of us gather here to celebrate that spirit, not just talk about it. With this, there's another part which I would like to present before you. And we all know that the BJP being in power for the last 11 years, Shri Narendra Modi ji leading from the front, things have really changed. And how has it changed? I would like to cite an example to you. I have the copy also. I, for a purpose, brought the manifesto of the Bharatiya Janata Party of 2019. Why did I bring it? Earlier, the politics in India was, वादे करो, वादों का क्या है, election के बाद भूल जाओ. I hope you people also understand bits and pieces of Hindi that I am speaking. You understand Hindi?
Yes.
Okay, good. So then I will also recite a few couplets later. But it's good. A very healthy sign for our country. Just the way I love the speech in Malayalam, you people know Hindi, and I think that spirit unites us. So I was talking about the manifesto. People forgot their manifestos. But page 24 of the BJP manifesto, the Bharatiya Janata Party under the leadership of Shri Narendra Modi ji made a promise to the citizens of the country that for you we propose and we have this vision of simultaneous elections. One nation, one election. We have been elected to power with the blessings of the citizenry of the country. I ask myself, should we not honor the commitment that we made to the people of the country? आप बताइए, should we honor that commitment or should we not honor that commitment? Yes, sir. That's a very neat yes. Can the entire hall at least say yes to the promise to be fulfilled? Can you say yes?
Yes.
Thank you. That means you're not sleeping. You're all alert. So, we made a promise. We want to keep that commitment. The opposition says, don't do it. And we say, if we have made a promise, we have to fulfill that promise. It emanates from the spirit of the Constitution itself, that if we resolve, that resolve has to come true. What is the opposition's case? That also is very important. The opposition, especially the Congress party, is now called PP, not PowerPoint, but perpetual pessimists. They are perpetually pessimistic. For anything that you go to them, the country needs this, we need to have this change, they would say, "No, please, isko mat karna." They are status quoist. Jaisa hai waisa rehne do. And the young India is asking for more. It's ready to run. It's ready to lead. The young India says, "Ye dil mange more. I want a change for the better. Even if I have to work 24/7, 365, I will. I don't have a problem with that. But I want a change for the positive." So I was also looking at the arguments that have been given by the opposition. The opposition says that this one nation, one election, one is undemocratic. Now I ask myself as a student of law, earlier you went twice, and if you also count the local body elections thrice to vote, so you had 3 votes, right? After one nation, one election, if it is to be done in one phase or 2 phase, that has to be deliberated upon. But how many votes would you have? You would still have 3 votes. Only the number of times that you would have to visit the polling booth to cast your vote would change. Does that make it undemocratic? The answer is no. Absolutely not. The Constitution nowhere says, and I challenge the opposition if they can show me an article which says that there have to be separate elections. No article whatsoever. So what is this? This is a figment of their imagination. The spirit of the Constitution remains alive. The spirit of the Constitution is that citizens of the country above the 18 years of age vote and they elect their government. Whether they do it in one go or they do it in 2 go. It doesn't matter whatsoever. So first argument goes for a toss. Second, they say this is too difficult to achieve. Not possible with the quasi-federal structure that India has. So arz kiya hai, since all of you told me that you can understand a little bit of Hindi, I will shift to Urdu now. I'll make it tougher for you. Manzil mil hi jayegi, bhatak kar hi sahi. Manzil mil hi jayegi, bhatak kar hi sahi. Gumrah to wo hai jo ghar se nikle hi nahi. So I don't know whether you got the meaning or not. I'll explain it to you. Ultimately, you will achieve the goal and the purpose for which you stepped out. Actually, people who are confused or will not achieve anything in life are the ones who have not dared to step out of their house and are confined to the premises of the house. So risk-taking, setting big dreams is very, very important. And that is the message of this couplet. Third, and the most important argument that they raise is the federal structure. Federal structure will be destroyed. And how would it be destroyed? Now they say that when one nation, one election would be implemented, generally the government in the center or national parties, to take forward their argument, will have an advantage over regional parties and regional forces. And a voter is not smart enough to vote for A party for the Lok Sabha and for the B party in the assembly election. So I would only say this, they should also read and then look at the example of Odisha. 2014-2019 elections, Lok Sabha as well as the Odisha assembly elections were held simultaneously. And you are all aware, Narendra Modi ji was blessed by the people of the country and Odisha as well to be the Prime Minister, but the state government was not of the BJP. It was the Biju Janata. So what does it show? It shows that our voters are very mature. They know how to select parties when it comes to form the central government and the state government. And one person going to the polling booth. Doesn't matter that there are simultaneous elections. That person can actually vote for A party in the Lok Sabha election and for the B party in the Assembly election. This is an example. Just to tell you that the opposition is not right when they criticize that one nation, one election in the long run would obliterate the regional parties from Indian polity. That is not the way our country works. There is enough space for national parties as well as the state parties to prosper and to flourish together with one goal, and that one goal is taking the country forward. If the goal of the regional party or the national party of growing at the cost of the country is there, then you would agree it needs to be immediately dismantled and decimated. That dream cannot exist, because first and foremost is the interest of our country. Bharat has to progress, and then yes, all political parties and citizens have to be empowered too. That is the dream of every citizen of the country. Now, there are one or two more aspects that I would like to shed light on. It is very important to understand that one nation, one election is something that would also ensure that there is stability in the country. One of the speakers before me also mentioned this, and that is very important, because be it the international market or local investors, they look for stability. Now what happens when there are two elections that take place separately? We see that in terms of accountability also, the accountability is less. People feel, I've seen some state governments of the opposition parties saying, you got a 5-year term, why don't you start implementing your vision and your manifesto? They say, abhi 5 saal hain, if we start now, by the time next elections are around the corner, people will forget that this is the good work that we've done. So let's wait for 2 years, 3 years, and then in the end, we will start implementing the policy decisions, the schemes that would empower the citizens. Now imagine a scenario where there is only one election. When there is one election, nobody is waiting that Lok Sabha election abhi aayenge, Vidhan Sabha aayenge. They all know that you have 5 years in hand. You have to implement your manifesto. Will give them even more time to engage with the people. They will go to the people. They will talk, rather than if there is a Lok Sabha election, the leader is busy conversing for the Lok Sabha elections. Then the state elections, again, the same leader has to be there in every constituency campaigning for the party. How much time are we wasting? Are we choosing leaders to govern us? Or are we choosing leaders only to ensure that they're campaigning for their party and winning elections? This is a question that everybody needs to ask. And the answer is very simple. Even the politicians who are opposing one nation, one election are aware that they are here to govern us. In a democracy, you don't rule, you govern. And you can't govern when you're busy campaigning every 3 months, every 6 months, just asking for votes. Where is the time for realizing those dreams that you promised to the citizens? There is no time. So, having said this, I would summarize by just saying that there is an opportunity in time, opportunity in space, and opportunity in India. It is destined that Shri Narendra Modi ji was to take the country forward. We have a bold leader who is not afraid to take bold decisions. Decisions that at times for a section of society are not populist, but at the same time, behind every decision that Shri Narendra Modi ji takes, there is only one spirit, and the spirit is betterment of the nation. Bharat ko majboot karna. The country has to move forward. And therefore, when this opportunity strikes at our door, are we to let go of this opportunity, or are we to avail of this opportunity and turn the hand of time? As Shakespeare said his famous lines, there is a tide in the affairs of men, there is a tide in the affairs of men, which taken at the flood leads on to fortune. If omitted, rest of the voyage is spent in miseries and sorrows. So this is so true for us as well. We have to take full opportunity, and we have a conviction in our heart. The conviction is, if we unite together, forgetting that Kashmir, Kerala, Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, no. It is about our country Bharat. Our democracy deserves it. Our future generations will benefit, and thus we unite for this single purpose, to ensure that one nation, one election is implemented. And this can only happen when the very purpose of this conference is that young minds like you, when you go out from today, talk to people about this issue. Even my presence as a political leader, I did not invoke politics. There is a reason. I invoked the Constitution. I invoked the well-being of our country. I invoked the voters. I invoked the culture of Kerala. But nowhere did I get politics in between. There is a reason. When you go out, ask every other opponent who vociferously does not support this idea, that what are the reasons, why are you not supporting one nation? Give us the reason. And then please, we have demonstrated there are very good plausible 5 or 6 reasons. There are even more, but 5 or 6 main reasons why it should be implemented. Have a dialogue. Change people's perception about it. And you won't believe, there's nothing stronger than an idea. If an idea is here, and I must say the time of this idea has also come, it is for you to be the torch bearer. Go visit people and then talk about one nation, one election, and how you feel that this would enrich our country and our country would move forward with this idea. And with that hope, I thank all of you for being such a wonderful audience, smiling faces, eager eyes, a lot of indomitable spirit in the room, and pin drop silence. I don't get that kind of silence even in the courtroom when we argue our matters. So thank you so much for being here. And I must say that as I have faith in Shri Narendra Modi ji, my leader, I'm sure that all of you have faith in the Prime Minister of our country. And one thing is for sure, no one, and mark my words, we will reassemble to discuss this, no one can stop this idea, because the time of this idea has come and Bharat is ready to embrace it with full warmth and affection. Thank you so much.